The European fixtures have been very interesting, but it's the final group stage round. Some teams in the last round really struggled. One in particular, Newcastle, was screwed over against PSG, and it's really difficult for a few to now qualify. Others cemented their spots in the knockout rounds very well. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into our final group stage predictions. We start with PSV against Arsenal. PSV are needing a point to make sure they go through in second place in the group. Arsenal have already won the group, so they are obviously through. I think with PSV needing it, Arsenal might rest a few players because they do have a pretty busy Christmas period, as all teams do. So they've got the luxury of being able to rest some of their players for this. But I do think that could have an effect with PSV obviously fighting for everything. So I'll go for a 1-1 draw. Man United take on Bayern Munich. Now Bayern Munich are already through as group leaders. Man United sit bottom and they have to do something pretty impossible, but another result has to go their way if they want to get through to the knockouts. So I'd say it's pretty unlikely they qualify. They could get into third, but I still think that's very unlikely. They need to beat Bayern Munich, and to get through in second place they also need Galatasaray and Copenhagen to draw with each other. Now I can see Galatasaray and Copenhagen winning because they're both going to be going for it to qualify as well. So I think it's really against United. To finish third and go to the Europa League, they would also need to win, because a draw would be no good because they don't have good head-to-head either. So I think Man United will be out of Europe. And even though they both lost at the weekend, Man United 3-0 to Bournemouth and Bayern Munich 5-1 against Frankfurt, I think Bayern Munich could pretty easily get a point out of this with fielding a weaker side. So I'll go for a 1-1 draw. Red Star Belgrade face Man City. Now Man City are already through, top of the group, 15 points out of a possible 15. Can they make it a perfect group stage? I think so. They're going to rest some players. They have looked a bit short of crucial goals recently, but I don't see a problem. I think they're going to win. I'll go 3-1. Finally, for the Champions League, Newcastle host AC Milan. This is a massive one. If Newcastle had have beaten PSG in the last game, they would pretty much be through here, but they have to do it the hard way. The ref gave a very dodgy penalty that should never have been a penalty to PSG in the last minute to save a point for the Paris team, and it's left Newcastle in a very difficult predicament. Newcastle need to beat AC Milan. If they draw or win against AC Milan, they're guaranteed at least third place in Europa League. If they win, they need PSG not to beat Dortmund, a draw or a loss, and Newcastle will be second. However, if PSG beat Dortmund, the Champions League dream is over and Newcastle will not be able to get through to the knockouts. So I'm going to do a double prediction. Newcastle against AC Milan. I think they'll give it everything. They're better at home. They've got a lot of injuries. But I am going to go for Newcastle to win it narrowly 2-1. Dortmund against PSG. Dortmund top, already qualified. They may rest players. And I may be trying to speak this into existence because I want it. But I'll go for a 2-2 draw. Liverpool travel to Belgium to take on USG. Liverpool already group winners. It's McAllister against his brother McAllister. Interesting game this will be, but I think Liverpool will rest players. They've got centre-back injuries. Will that mean that USG can get something? I'm not sure. I think Liverpool still have the quality in their backup players to win this 2-1. West Ham are at home against Freiburg. Both sides qualified, both on 12 points, so this one decides who wins the group and who has to go through the knockout round. which means they face the team that drops down from the Champions League in third place in the group. So you really do want to win your group in these lower competitions. I think West Ham can do it. They've definitely got the quality. A draw would see them top as well. But I do think they'll go all out and get a 2-1 win. Last game of the Europa League is Brighton against Marseille. I left this one till last because it's got the most jeopardy. Brighton have qualified, so have Marseille. However, Brighton are sitting in second place and need a win if they want to get top and straight through to the knockouts, instead of having to face a Champions League side that finishes third. It's going to be tough because Marseille are a good side at the moment, 4 wins in a row in all competitions. Aubameyang cannot stop scoring, and Brighton are faltering slightly in the league with 1-1 draws against the likes of Burnley and Sheffield United, a loss against Chelsea. They're not converting too many draws into wins, as many as they'd want anyway at the moment. So unfortunately for Brighton, I can see them only getting a point. I think Aubameyang being in great form isn't going to help, so I can see some goals. I'll go 2-2. Finally, Zrinjski Mostar host Aston Villa. Now Villa have qualified as winners. They're in brilliant form at the moment, beating Man City and Arsenal back to back at home 1-0. They've just broken their all-time home consecutive record with a 15-win streak at Villa Park. Emery has really turned them from relegation, looking like they're going for a relegation battle with Gerrard, into a European side. And this was a side they nearly slipped up against. McGinn scored a last-minute winner to make it 1-0. I think they'll be a little bit better this time. They'll rest players, but I still think they'll win it 3-0. So those are my European predictions. There's a lot of jeopardy, especially around the 2 Champions League sides, Man United and Newcastle. Let me know what your predictions are down in the comments. Will those sides make it through? It's going to be tight. Make sure to like and subscribe. And hopefully it's a last entertaining round of group stage fixtures.